How to sell anything to anyone, the auctioneer method. I've been selling from an auction block for over 30 years. Like I said, I was the youngest international champion in the history of the contest. I've sold billions of dollars worth of everything from cars to real estate to household items to businesses. But here's what most people don't know. The techniques that work in auctions work in everyday sales situations. I'm Andy Dunning, and today I'm going to teach you the auctioneer method of selling anything to anyone. See, these aren't just sales techniques. These are psychological triggers that create urgency, build value, and close deals fast. If you can master these, guess what? You'll never struggle with sales again. So here's why auctioneers are the ultimate salespeople. And they sell to crowds, not just one individual. They create instant competition between multiple buyers for all kinds of items. They build urgency, scarcity in real time while things are selling. They close deals in seconds, not weeks. So let's get into the psychological power of auctions. Number one, the social proof. See, if others are bidding, it must be valuable. Or guess what? Number two, FMO, fear of missing out. Everybody has it. You only have one chance to buy this one item. See, competition drives prices higher. The momentum builds with every single bid that goes on. See, my personal history, I went from selling 30 cars a night to selling over 600 cars a night. The product didn't change, the method of how I was selling it did. That auction style of where they were selling 30 cars a night, that wasn't working. We had to bring a whole new environment into the auction ring. And once we did that, I created 10 times more revenue than any other traditional auction was doing. So let's get into principle number one, control the environment. Auction setup. Everyone faces the auctioneer. See, that's so they're able to see the gentleman that's selling them something, but not only that, that's not the importance. The auctioneer now is looking eye to eye with the person that's buying. They are able to get that physical and mental control with them. See, we've just gotten all distractions eliminated by eliminating everything in between the auctioneer and the buyers. Now what we've gone in and done is we've changed the pace and the energy that comes into that lane. We are in complete control. This way, the sale becomes a performance and an absolute show, and the buyers are completely involved in the show, not so much in what the prices are that are going on. See, how this applies to sales is when you're in an environment, you control your meeting with whoever it is you're selling. You're able to change the perspective of what's in front of you. You move the distractions, you turn your cell phone over so that it doesn't go off and they feel like all of your attention is on them. You now move your signal directly to them and you're blocking out all the other noise. Position yourself as you are the expert. You set the mood in the room, you make them feel like it is time to buy. Why does this matter? See, people buy emotionally. They try and justify it logically, but it's all done out of emotion. So now you're able to add that emotion in and you can take advantage of the emotion that they're showing. You're able to read the person like you're reading cards. See, the environment affects the emotions. When you add in the energy, you've now changed what the environment is. See, comfortable buyers, they make quicker decisions. They may even stop bidding because they're not caught up in the emotion of that buy. The high energy, high conversion. That's where you trap those buyers and you're able to get them to make decisions at a fast pace without thinking, but now you've added the element of emotion in there and they get really wrapped up in it and they'll pay more. Here are a couple of tips. Choose clean, quiet space. Adjust the lighting, set the seating, specific order of seating, and then set your flow of auction. And when I say set your flow of auction, what I'm talking about is know the price range of the vehicles. If we're talking about a car auction, or if we're talking about, let's say you're selling antiques, you want to sell the good, the best, and then you sell the rest. You want to have an environment where people are thinking, okay, hey, we're building momentum on the type of stuff we're selling. Then eliminate anything that's going on in that room that could absolutely split your buyer's attention. You want to keep them focused on you at all times. You're setting the tone before you ever get your pitch involved. Principle two, create urgency and scarcity. See, the auction part of it is a secret weapon. That's when you hear that going once, going twice, sold. Guess what? What you've done there is you've put the urgency in them. They think, wait a minute, I've got to make a decision real fast. But not only that, you added the scarcity, because if you actually said sold, they missed out on that opportunity. Now that item is no longer a place where they have an opportunity to buy. They have one item, one chance, and it's gone forever. The pressure stays forced and fast decision. This way, the pressure forces extremely fast decisions. Why? Because see, urgency works. People want what they can't have at all times. Think about it. Scarcity boosts perceived value. See, when somebody thinks that an item is worth more because everybody else is wanting it and the chance of it not being able to have it, well, you just added that scarcity in there and it's now added a value to it. See, now they have a fear of loss, and when they have fear of loss, that is more powerful than the desire for gain. See, now urgency prevents second guessing. When somebody has that opportunity to say, no, you know what, this is too much, and they start thinking twice about it, that's when you lose your buyer. But by putting that urgency on them at all times and keeping just enough pressure on them to where they don't feel uncomfortable, you keep them from second guessing, and you'll be able to get them to keep paying higher for that item. So bring this into your sales process. Make your time limited when you're making an offer to somebody. Not only that, but limit the quantity of your offer. See, if you have too much things that you're trying to offer somebody, then they sit there and think, oh, well, I don't really have to have that urgency. There's no scarcity there. They're not really going to be as involved or as impressed by that item. So not only that, then you add in expiring prices. That's how we do it in the auction business. When we're sitting there saying going once, going twice, and about to say sold, you have that slight pause in there right before you say sold. That gives that person that time to go, I need to bid one more time. Principle 3, building value before revealing the price. See, auctioneers have a sequence they go through when they're doing things. First off, they describe the item in detail. They highlight features and benefits of that item that somebody may have missed out on, but not only that, what it is that actually brings the value to that item. They're telling a story, they're painting a picture, they're letting the person know that it is something that they're not going to be able to live without. How do they do that? Because they built the desire for that item in the description, and then they start the bidding. They may sit and do different valuation building techniques in this, and what I mean by that is, let's say the item's worth $10,000. They may say, will you give me $15,000? Because now they're getting it in your mind, it's actually worth more than you originally thought. So then they go in and building these techniques, these value techniques, they start to share that story behind the product. They tell you a little bit that they didn't tell you in the very beginning. When they did that description, they held something out. They had that one little nugget that's gonna pop off in your brain and get you to bid again. They emphasize what makes it unique and why it's part of that scarcity. Now, compare that to something that's worth more. See, now you've sparked emotion. You make them feel that this has the value. So here's why this works. People buy based on perceived value, not what the actual cost is. Value must be felt before the price is shown. See, when an auctioneer is up there and they're on that auction block and they're selling to somebody, they're constantly telling the person what a deal they're getting. They're getting the emotions involved. They're telling him and elevating that perceived value of that item. See, anchors help set the expectation. Value must be felt before the price is shown. See, the emotion that you raise in that perceived value, what you've been doing all along, you've been setting anchors to help set the expectations of the value that these people could miss by not buying that item during that time. Now, apply this to your product or service. Here we go how you do that. Lead with benefits, not specs. Share transformations, not data. Now, paint a picture of how those results will work. Build a connection before you talk numbers. Principle number 4, use social proof and competition. See, the bidding war effect that auctioneers use, what we've done is we've created multiple buyers competing. We have public proof of value. We have a person over here on the right that thinks this is valued at X, and we have a person over here on the left that thinks this is valued at Y. Now they've got to go through and figure out how are we getting to Z on the value because it's bringing more. You've got public proof of value now. People don't want to lose. That's where the competition comes in. You can always play two people against each other on value. Buyers are validated by seeing a group bidding on items. Now you've got social proof psychology. People follow the crowd. They're always going to follow the crowd. They see somebody over here bidding, they think it must be good. If others want it, it must have value. Peer pressure constantly increases action and builds emotion. Seeing others commit boosts confidence at all times. How do you create this in your sales? Mention other interested buyers in your products or services that you're selling. Share client wins and testimonials from other buyers that have bought your product in the past. Build a waiting list of people that are wanting your product. Qualified leads. Make people earn the chance to buy your product. Here's some personal examples. In auctions, bidders feed off each other all the time. Nobody wants to be the loser. Nobody wants to lose in a competition because there's only one winner at an auction. See, the atmosphere drives up the prices and it locks in quick, efficient decisions. Principle number 5, controlling the pace and the energy. And this is where the auctioneer's rhythm comes in. The chant creates that flow. It builds the excitement. The energy coming from the voice of that auctioneer is contagious. The pace prevents any hesitation when you're raising your hand to bid on an item. See, energy is strategy. Start light, you build up that momentum. It's just like a horse race. When they come out of the gate, they build that speed a little at a time. With the auction chant, you're increasing that intensity as you go along. Your voice, your hands, your movement make every item that's being bid on feel like it's electric. Now in the sales meeting, this is how you handle that. Match the energy to the moment. Make sure you read the room correctly and you come in with the right tone and the right pitch when you go to lead that meeting. Speed up when decisions are necessary to be sped up, but keep an even pace. Slow down for objections and explanations. You're able to use pauses for that dramatic effect when you're in a meeting. You can always change the emotion in the room at that time by using those dramatic effects. Momentum effect. Early wins build trust. You get the people to buy from you by giving them those early wins. Each success fuels the next. See, excited buyers, they just keep buying. Every time they hear that word sold, they know that those vehicles are selling. They want to be in a lane that they're selling in. They know they're going home with that product that night. So they're there, they want to hear it. It builds that momentum. With that, you create a wave that carries the whole deal all the way through to the moment you say sold. The exact same happens when you're in a meeting. You get that momentum right, it carries all the way through, all the way till that pitch, and you get the close. Principle 6, handle the objection before they arise. See, in the auctioneer method, we address the concerns up front. We remove the doubt before it shows up. We use third parties as proof. We let people know that you're in a safe environment to be able to make purchases at this location. You've got price. You build value. You offer payment options. You have quality items. You offer guarantees and warranties on that. And then you deal with timing, emphasize urgency, and cost of making delayed decisions. You are the authority. You pre-qualify and you get decision makers present at that time. So what this does is it builds trust early. Highlight your experience. Show the testimonial, the case studies, anybody else that has bought your product or service. Be upfront about your limitations. Know the expectations are set early of what they can expect in doing business with you. Be real. That's what builds confidence in people that are buying from you. They want to feel that authenticity. The complete auctioneer sales system. The step-by-step framework. 1, control the environment. 2, build value first. 3, create urgency and scarcity. 4, use social proof and competition. 5, control the pace and the energy. 6, handle all objections before they arise. And number 7, always close confidently. Why this works? It builds on human psychology, not on manipulation. Buyers win, sellers win. It shortens the sales cycle. It builds loyal customers all the way through your business. It generates faster, higher value, and better deals. My results? I built a multiple 8-figure business from this. I outperformed traditional auction sales repeatedly. I created long-term relations. I scaled the system across the industry in multiple states, which led me to be able to exit the auction business in an 8-figure deal. So here's what you got to do. Pick one principle and use it this week. Practice the full system on your own at your next sales call. Track your results. Master one before moving on to the next one. Steps: choose your next sales opportunity. Plan how to apply each principle. Rehearse your pitch before you deliver it. That is very important. Execute with confidence. Final message, guys. These auctioneer principles work no matter what industry you're in. Master the method and you'll never struggle with sales again. Guys, like, subscribe, share it with a friend, anybody that you think needs help with their sales strategies, and then stay consistent, stay successful, and start selling like a champion.